And we are on. Hello, Dustin.
Hello, buddy. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great. Where
So,
are you?
pardon me?
Are you at home?
I am at home, yes. And I'm still in my PJs. I've been in these rancid things now for 3 days.
That's good.
I am ripe. So let's just be glad that this is going on over the internet. Trust me. It actually reminds me of the story you tell. You have this awesome, hilarious story you tell about Neo back in the day when he didn't want to change.
Yeah, he didn't want to change. Yes,
you want to quickly tell a little version of that story just because it's so good?
Yeah. He just didn't want to change. I don't remember exactly which specifically, but I remember he had a time that he didn't want to change shoes. That was the one period. So he was going to sleep with the shoes. And when we eventually took the shoes off, it was really dangerous for the environment. And then he had the period that he wanted to sleep in a box. And then he had the period that he didn't want to change clothes. And why we let him do what he wanted to do? Because the self-determinism of a person is much more important than almost anything, unless if there's an actual real dangerous for his health, I wouldn't interfere. If that's what he wants, I will explain to him what it means. But then if he will decide that that's what he wants, I will let him do that. And then he will decide what's good for him and what's not. And if you don't do that, you may be right. You may be getting him to be clean, but you'll destroy him, the spirit. And it is like with an adult. Adult don't want people to come and tell him what to do. If I'll come to him and say, well, you need to go and take a shower now. And he said, I don't want. I said, no, you have to. You will shoot me. But somehow we find it okay to do it with children. And it's not, because a child is a person, a real person, just with a small body. They have feeling, they get upset, they get insulted. And the only reason why they allow us to behave to them the way that we do is because they love us so much. Do you understand? They love the adult so much, so they allow the adult to do what they do to the children and still be okay with us.
Wow.
That's how much children love the parents. That's how much children love the adults. Actually, the word family stands for father and mother, I love you.
Really?
Yes. That's really cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you wanted to ask me questions. That was
buddy. So I had an amazing idea. I got to pat myself on the back for it. Instead of trying to think of some questions myself, I actually went on Facebook and I asked my friends, because I have brilliant friends, some questions. I wanted them. I needed help from them because I was having a block. And I interviewed you, I think, last week. And so I was trying to think of some more questions. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to pop on and really see what people want to know. And holy, did I ever get some amazing questions. Literally, even now, I have goosebumps. Like, I can't wait to ask you. These are
good.
So let's get going here. We'll jump right into it. So my first question is a business question. And I thought we'd start off with this. We give everybody a little nice tidbit on how they can change their lives right off the bat.
Okay.
So first question is, how can we design or plan a business or even arrange our current business that takes into account the future assaults on our economy and livelihood, like the government has done with the COVID-19, that prevents us from getting shut down and left behind or bankrupt?
Okay, good. So what you need to do with your business, whatever your business is to arrange it in such a way that every income that comes in, you take 10% from the top and you set it aside, never to be touched. It's better that you'll give someone else other than you control over that. Give it to a trusted lawyer or an escrow agent, and you tell them, you're not allowing me to use that money unless if I'm about to die, and once every 3 years it opens and you can take a portion out. So that's number one. It does two things. Number one, it increases your necessity level to produce more money, because you know that every money that comes from the top, it goes away. It's not yours. It's like you have to pay it.
Wow.
Like you know, you always somehow pay your rent. You always pay the things that you have to pay. If that will become at the same level of your rent, you will find a way to pay it. So that's number one. Put money aside. That's the first most important thing. Second, you need to learn how to sell so much that you will have extra, other than money that you set aside. You'll have so much cash flow. You'll have so much money all the time that if someone will close you for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it will be not a problem. So you need to learn how to sell, and you need to learn how to organize the business that in such a way that you will have consistently increased number of clients. And there is an actual way to do that. I will explain some of the ways, and if you will do that, although sometimes it sounds illogical, if you will do that, you will see your business will at least minimum 10 times, minimum. This is what you need to do. You need to realize that the number of communication, not the quality, the number of communication out, how many communication out you do is much more important, or the only thing that's important in a business.
Wow.
So most people, when they go to promote something, they think about something that will look nice, that will represent the brand. They're thinking about branding. They're thinking about all kind of things. I say, no. I say, do the cheapest that have the most amount of communication out. I'll give you a story from some days back. So before the internet, there was this thing that they were promoting, sending pieces of pamphlets out. So I had a friend, and he came to me and he showed me this amazing, beautiful, glossy, unbelievable pamphlet. And he was working on it for quite a while, and he prepared that, and he showed it to me, and he says, look, this is what I want to send as a promotion, and because it's so beautiful, I think people will buy. I said, how much it cost you? So I don't remember exactly the exact amount, but let's say he said $3 per one piece of paper. I said, good. What I want you to do is I want you to find toilet paper. And I want you to print it in black and white on toilet paper. How much it will cost? He said, well, what do you mean on toilet paper? I said, toilet paper, the cheapest paper you can find. Toilet paper. He said, but that's disgusting. How can you do that? I said, how much it will cost you? He said it will cost maybe 2 cents per piece. I said, good. It means for every $3, every one piece, you can print how many? 600, yes? Am I right? Like 600 times more, 600. So 600. So with the same amount of money, instead of sending one piece of promotion, you send 600. Okay. So let's say instead of sending 10, you had 6,000. Instead of sending 100, you have 60,000. Now, when you send this glossy thing, you'll get a good return, 10%. So we send 100. We got 10% is 10, okay? But because this is shitty piece of paper, we will not get 10%. We'll get, let's say, 1%. What is 10% of 60,000 is 6,000. 1% is 600.
Yeah.
600 versus 10. So let's say not 1%, 0.5%, 300. So the return will be in order of magnitude more bigger. So more communication out, more, much more than you can imagine. Your main interest as an advertiser, as a salesperson, as a marketer should be communicate. People say, well, but you send too many emails. Yes, of course I send too many emails. But you will see that when someone says, I sent too many emails, it's actually too many emails for him. Most people don't care. Most people actually need it. Why? Because it takes at least 6 times for a person to see a message before he actually get the message. If you go on online, and you've got this news that turns around, and you see this advertising, and you see them again and again and again. You say, that's nothing, and you skip it, and you say that's nothing, and skip it. And the next day you see it, and you say, that's nothing, I'm skip it. And the next day you say, no, I'm not going to waste my time on it. And after 4, 5, 6 days that you see the same advertising, you click.
Yeah. Well, that's why they bombard you all day long on the TV with the same commercials, over and over. And it makes so much sense.
And then you click. So number one, number of communication. Once you do that, you need to, and I'm giving you all, like, if you really understand what I say now, you can build a business. Number one, communications. Yeah. Number one, set aside money. Number 2, communication out. Number 3, you make sure that you have 2 types of products. One, free or very low cost, that you attract people to come and listen to you or try you. And number 2, expensive. And once a person buy from you something small, you keep on selling him the same or similar things, low cost or free services, until he trusts you. Once he trusts you, then you sell him the next thing. So your job, your purpose with your relationship with your customer is to build a trust. He needs to trust you. So when he comes and needs to buy something that you sell, you will be the person he will ask, what should I buy? And you tell him, I should buy that, and he will buy that just because you said. And the last thing, there is one more thing that it's a little bit more involved, but it's the most important, more important than everything I told you up to now. But because it's a little bit more involved, if you want to hear what it is, I would send you a free video that usually costs $1,000. And that was not planned.
Wow.
I'll send you a free video that usually I sell it for $1,000, totally for free. All you have to do is to follow me on Instagram and to send me a message, a private message, and say, I want to receive the masterclass. It's one of my masterclasses. I want to receive masterclass number 1, and you will get it for free.
Wow, that's amazing. I had no idea you were going to do that.
Me too.
That's so awesome. Thanks. That's wicked. Well, guys, hey, follow him. There you go. Private message him. Ask for the masterclass number 1.
Yeah,
you get it for free. That's amazing.
Yeah, and while it worth $1,000, what it will be worth for you? It will be worth for you winning. Like, you do these actions that I suggest in that video, and every person that did that increase his business in order of magnitude. I'm talking about at least 10 times, minimum 10 times. I have a friend, he's dealing with this kind of barcode, second-hand barcode. He's from South Africa. I gave him, he bought from me this seminars. He watched it, he applied it to his company. And I don't want to say the numbers because I don't remember the number that he told me exactly. But I think he at least 4 or 5 times his business that was already doing well.
Wow.
4 or 5 times his business, yes. And it is just the beginning, because it will grow and grow and grow and grow. The more you apply that principle, the more it will grow.
Okay, well, I haven't seen this video yet. I think I need it. What haven't I joined up on yours yet? I can get
follow me and send me a private message, and you'll get it.
Yeah. Okay, I will for sure. All right.
Anyone that will send me a private message will get it. Just ask me for the masterclass, and you'll get it.
That's awesome.
And
super.
Who is on the chat? We've got Daniela, Svenja, wow, and Aaron. Nice to see you all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions.
My next question is from 2 totally different people, and but they're very related. They almost asked a very similar question, so I'm going to ask them kind of both. I'll read them both to you. Okay, so I have a friend who is an entrepreneur, but currently works for somebody else. She is a very spiritual person, but she and her boss both have a consideration that they have to be careful what they post on social media as to not affect their business or potentially lose clients because of their viewpoints. And then my other friend asked a similar question. As an entrepreneur crawling to the top, in times where social media is heavily used for personal use, but business as well, do you think it's important to keep your personal life out of business side? What are the benefits and the pros and cons from mixing or keeping them apart? So basically,
Yeah.
social media in your personal life and your business.
Yeah. So when a person have a viewpoint, let's say I believe, let's say I'm Jewish, okay, and I can, if I will put a Jewish viewpoint, like I'm Jewish and I think everyone should become Jewish, da 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 da. Actually, I'm not doing it. Actually, I'm not putting a Jewish viewpoint, although my intention is good because I think that everyone should become Jewish. What I'm actually doing, I'm making everyone wrong. I'm basically telling them you are wrong and I'm better than you. I have a better idea. Good intention. I have good intention. My intention is to help them because I think that it's the right thing for them. But I'm ignoring all the other side of what they think. So what I think is always right in a relationship, always, this is totally 100% true, is that whatever I do what other people can experience. When I communicate to people, I find out what they can experience and I give it to them at their level. I don't tell them not truth. I'm not lying to them, but I give them only things that they can experience. So, for example, let's say someone. I think that let's say I think that COVID-19 is totally nonsense. If I will come and say, look, COVID-19 is totally nonsense, I will actually says, look, my viewpoint is right, your viewpoint is wrong. I would not want someone that think that COVID-19 is totally not nonsense to come to me and say, it's not nonsense, because it's the same thing. So I don't want to do to others what I don't want them to do to me. But if I will look and I would say, look, this is the data that I have, data, not opinion, not what someone said, but this is a report from the World Health Organization. This is what the president says. And I will say, this is what I read here and what other viewpoints are there. And someone will come to me and say, well, I think that this is totally nonsense. I should be able to see how it is totally nonsense from his viewpoint and be willing to accept it, because what he is doing is exactly what I'm doing. He's trying to help me because he thinks that if he will accept my viewpoint, I will improve.
Yeah.
And if you have this viewpoint, so number one, you put things that do not go against someone else, but you just show data, not opinion. You really have to be able to separate data from opinion.
Okay.
And if you show data and then be willing to accept any opinion, even if the opinion it is, you are stupid, you are useless, you are ugly, you are whatever they say, yes? And if you can actually look at that and say, well, thank you for telling me that I am like that. Thank you. If you can just acknowledge the other person, there will be no effect, not bad effect on you, and you will help a lot of people, and things will improve for you. So generally, I can divide it to two things. Number one, communicate out only what other people can easily live with. Yes, they need to live with that viewpoint easily. You don't want to go against them. So give data, not opinions. Okay? And number two, be willing to accept all the opinions in the universe. Be willing to accept all the viewpoints in the universe. You are as successful, you are as protected, you are as powerful as you are willing to tolerate other viewpoints. What defines how powerful you are is how many viewpoints are you willing to tolerate. Because if you can tolerate, if you can see all viewpoints from everyone, actually you know. Because if you cannot see the other viewpoints, you actually don't know. You said this is what I think, but you actually don't know.
Gotcha.
You see?
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest. Number one, train yourself. There's an actual way to learn how to give up, separate data from opinions. So give only data, ignore the opinions, and be willing to experience anything that come your way. If you will be willing to experience anything that come your way, the magic is that almost no one attack you. Yeah, because they know that you're not against them. They sense that. They spiritually sense that the flow of the communication is not pushing, but it is pulling. You put something out and you are willing to get something in. You not put something out in order to push. There's two types of communication. One type of communication that I communicate in order to push against you, and another type of communication when I give you a communication to entice you to talk to me because I'm really interested. So in the first part, I'm interesting, I'm pushing communication. I said, this is my viewpoint, you need to get it, blah, 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 and everyone will push. And the other kind of communication, I'm talking to you because I'm really interested. I want to hear what you have to tell me, and I'm willing to accept it as it is. And my basic assumption is that anything you tell me is because you have good intention.
Wow. Well, I just got a huge win from that, actually. So thank you for that answer. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Well, I see where I've been going wrong, actually, for the last little while. Sorry, guys. I'm going to change that around a little bit. Thanks. That's amazing. That was really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow. I just got a huge win from that. It's amazing.
Wow. Very nice. Well done.
Next question. I have a friend that manages staff, and she is having trouble balancing those who are scared by what's going on right now and those who are annoyed by the restrictions. She says half of her staff wants to wear masks and the other half is indifferent. And then there's people like her as well. She's the boss, but she refuses to wear a mask. Her scared staff is telling her she's scaring people, and she feels that they are building fear. So how does she balance both sides and herself without removing one side or making one side wrong? Which you kind of just answered, but.
Yeah. So when you have two viewpoints, you need to look. Let's say I'm against mask. Okay, I don't want to wear a mask. Okay, and my staff member really feel that he needs to protect himself. He needs a mask. First of all, if I will try to convince you the other way around, I'm making him wrong. And if I make him wrong, he will want to wear a mask even more. Okay. So what I will do, I will come with him to an agreement to say, look, you want to wear a mask? I'm supporting you and I will help you with anything that I can. So I'm not risking your health according to your viewpoint. Yes. It's not important if I think that I'm risking his health or not. He thinks, so I need to accept that viewpoint and contribute to it, not to push against it. Now, what will happen is once I will do that, if I really do that genuinely and not as a show, that person will be willing to hear what I have to say, but more important, I will be willing to hear what he has to say, because I will be willing to hear what he has to say. I will understand him. And once I understand someone, I can actually assist him. Before that, your purpose was not to assist him. Before that was your purpose. I think it's wrong and I think it's stupid and I cannot understand why they will do that. Okay, wonderful. If you don't understand and you don't want to understand, beautiful. You might be right, but you'll be dead, because we are not in a game of who is right and who is wrong. Because when you are right, you're not going to be successful. The people that are successful are not people that are right. Why? Because if you're really, 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 really right, everyone else is wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
What we're looking for is not to be right, but what we're looking for is to understand. When you understand, you don't need to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you understand the other person, all of a sudden you get cooperation. All of a sudden you get co-action. All of a sudden you've got a team. All of a sudden you have a friend. A friend do not mean copy-paste. A friend is not copy-paste. My wife is not copy-paste of me. My son is not copy-paste of me. My friends are not copy-paste. Why am I their friend? Because I can actually see their viewpoint, and from that viewpoint act, and not from another viewpoint. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to reiterate to other people, when you're saying understand their viewpoint and tolerate their viewpoint, you're not necessarily saying agree. You're saying understanding, which is two completely different things. Some people all mix those up.
Yeah, I understand. When I understand someone, is really, I can see that if I was in his shoes, I will think like him. From the some data that he has from his universe, that's the most pro-survival, most correct thing to do. From my viewpoint, it's a totally different story.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, let me just handle here one small thing. There's some noise here. Let me move them. Hold on. Okay, good. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so you can stop me at any point, by the way, if this starts to get for you.
Go for it. As much as you want. Let me see. People are here. They like it. Swapna, yes, excellent. So we have good response. Well, so we're good.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I had a brilliant lady. She's a teacher. I love her so much. She's awesome. She asked if you had to pick, which you and the rest of us, obviously, that's how she means it, like us. But in your opinion, if you had to pick 10 things that matter in this world right now, what would it be? What are some things we should let go of, like fears and things we don't want? She gave an example, like vaccines to her are like an absolutely no. She's not going to, doesn't want anything to do with vaccines. But what are the things that are really important that she should be concerned about right now?
How many people you can help? Number one.
Oh, wow.
Most important, how many people you can help? Yes?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, because a bank account, health, not businesses, nothing is as important as how many people you can help.
Wow.
So the first thing you need to look at is how many people can I help? Okay. Now, once you have that, I will say, how sane can I get? And what does it mean to be sane? Mm-hmm. Most of the people think that the word insane mean doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result.
Right.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, that's not the definition of insanity. It's actually the definition of tenacity.
Yeah.
I know that they say Einstein said that. I don't care who said that, because the messenger is not important. What's important for me is the message. The message is not insanity. The message is tenacity. If you are pushing weight, or if you are an Olympic champion, or if you are a mother that's trying to get her son to the shower, you do the same thing again and again and expecting different results. Go to the shower, go to the shower, go to the shower, go to the shower. After an hour, he goes to the shower. Tenacity. Then you need again the tenacity. Get out of the shower, get out of the shower, get another hour, yes? So that's tenacity. That's not insanity. Insanity is something else. Insanity is actually attention stuck in the past. When you deal with people, not because of what is happening, but because of what happens, remind you, you're insane. To the degree that you cannot separate between now to the past, to that degree, you're insane. So, for example, you meet a lady, and you're really interested. You are highly interested in that lady, and she tells you, you're so stupid. And you go to your friend and you say, did you see how nice you say stupid? And you're in love, and you're melting. Like, she called me stupid. It's so nice. And you really think that it's nice. And then you marry her. And then she says stupid, and you want to shoot her. What's the difference? What's the difference? At the beginning, the first time that she says stupid, you didn't have all of this nonsense turning on. She says stupid, so you could make it nice. Later on, when you got married, you have a lot of baggage. And when she says stupid, it reminds you the last time that you've been in Venice, that it's happened. And then it reminds you at that time in Spain. And then it reminds you of that. And it reminds you, and you, boom, you're shooting her. It's your ability to be with what's happening right now, to be in present time and not being stuck in the past. That's how sane you are. So I will say the next quality is the ability to be sane despite anything else that's going around. Okay? Part of this being sane, that once you recover that, and only once you recover that, you can actually love your fellow man. Because the word love, my definition of the word love, is the urge to be together for no reason at all. Because reason always has someone right and someone wrong. The urge to be together for no reason at all. It's like when you love your children, it's not important what they do, you love them. If they look good or they look bad, if they lost a hand or they didn't lose a hand, if they're alive or if they're dead, you love your children. Why? Because it's no reason at all. Once there is a reason, you're going into business. That's a business deal. You do that for me, I do that for you. Probably one of the worst mistakes that couples are doing, they decide they love the action of the person and not the person. They cannot separate between the action and the person. So I would say that that's the sub-action. So the next thing that I would say that's super important, that's really, really important, whatever happen, don't make people wrong. See their viewpoint. Don't make them wrong. See the viewpoint. Understand that from their viewpoint, they're trying to help. And it's exactly like you, for them. They think that you try to make them wrong, and they think that you make them really wrong, and don't make them wrong. Don't make them wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
The next thing that I would say is be willing to tolerate anything. Anything that comes your way, be willing to tolerate. What do I mean to tolerate it? That when it comes to you, it doesn't cause you to go into the past. You look at it right now and make the most correct decision, the most right decision. Now, what does it mean, right? How do you know when something is right or when something is wrong? When I say something right, you need to look that the right thing to do is not the true thing, is not the right thing to do has a very defined definition. The right thing to do is what will bring the most survival to the greatest number of people, being or things. So if I invent a drug that kill one person and save 1 billion people, it's the right thing to do because it is the most thing. So when I look, for example, at COVID-19, the way that I will look at that, if it's right or wrong, I will say, okay, good. So we're going to save 500,000 people and we're going to damage what? That's the balance. If the 500,000 people that we're going to save is more than the damage that we will save here, businesses, stress, mental health, blah, 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 blah. If we could take all of that and it's more, it's correct to put everyone in quarantine and to create a financial disaster, an economic disaster or not. But if it is not, if this is lower than the damage that we will create here, the financial damage, the et cetera, then it's incorrect. And when you examine it like that, not my opinion that my freedom is more important, or my opinion is that my health is more important, or my opinion, when you remove the opinions and you look at the facts and you just sit down and count what's more and what's less. When you do that, and when you do that for yourself, you don't go and ask someone else. You evaluate the data and you decide what's how much good and how much bad. If you'll do that, you will have a realization of what's the right thing to do. And at that moment, you will have a total certainty of what you're going to do. And that's exactly the next point. Whatever you do, do it like there's no tomorrow. 100% certainty. 100% certainty. Do not have any doubt. Clean out from your life any doubt. Just every so often, just sit down and make a list of any doubts that you have. Just make a list of doubts that you have, write them down, and decide to handle those doubts. If you will do that, you'll see your life will improve. Yeah, just handle doubts, whatever doubts you have. The next thing that I will do that I didn't count them, but I'll give you just what list is you need to create abundance. You need to create abundance. Now, how do you create abundance? The only way to create abundance for yourself and for anyone is to give more than expected. Now, to give more than expected do not mean not to expect to get. It is only means that if I go to a restaurant and they say, well, that's how much it costs. This dish costs so much. And I say, good, I agree with that. And they give me the dish and they give me a few things extra. Good service. They give me some extra dessert at the end, something that I did not expect. At that moment, I have so much, I feel that I have so much that I have to give out. And that thing that I have to give out will be in the form of I will talk about them good, I will promote them, maybe I'll give them a good tip, I'll do something. 97.5% of the people will just go out and will give more. And when they will give more, they will get more back. And it's almost like an economy. You know, economy, why the economy shut down right now? Because no one giving and no one getting. And so you need to give more. A big major misunderstanding for people is that they think help means for no return.
Right.
Help does not mean no return, because if you think about help as something with no return, what will happen is that everyone will starve.
Yeah.
And there will be no expansion. Help mean to find out what you really need and to give you that. And of course, get paid for it. But I help you by giving you exactly what you want. So for example, if you go to a doctor and the doctor saved your life, you pay him, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But he helped you because he gave you exactly what you need. You thank him. Oh, thank you, doctor, you saved my life. You really helped me, yes?
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. You don't expect the doctor to say, well, I'll just be a doctor forever and I'll help people without payment, because he will not survive, and then he cannot help other people and you cannot help. You have to have this movement. And I think that's more or less 10 things.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Way more powerful anyways. That's so good. I love that.
Thank you.
And you know what? You're proving that, you're showing that just by this interview here. You already gave, a recording away for free. You're giving amazing answers. You're really taking your time with them. You're not trying to rush it along or anything like that. This is really genuine. So you're giving way more. I mean, this is free and you're offering a free gift, and this is unbelievable information. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What do you think about the public education system and moms that fear that their child may get doctored there, in doctoring sort of opinion? So I have this mom who doesn't agree with some of the things the public education system teaches. And I mean, she doesn't have a choice. She sends her kid to public education over like a private. but how does she handle that when they're teaching things that, maybe she doesn't agree with?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so what's the job of the education system is to hold the kid. That's it, right? That's what they do. The job of because I don't think that the education system actually teaches much. Why? Because a normal child go to school from the age of 6 to the age of 18, more or less 20,000 hours. And when I look at people that finish those 12 years of study and I ask them what percentage of what they've studied they actually use in life or even remember, it's 0.00001%. So why do we do that? Okay. So I think the education system have good things and bad things. The one thing is that the teachers that are there are really caring. Usually most of the teachers that are there make it go right despite all the nonsense that they get from the education ministry and from whoever.
Yeah.
So the teachers are the plus point. They have good heart, and just the communication and good intention help the child as a person. So
Right.
regardless of the data, I don't think that they give much data, but I do think that they give something much more important than the data, which is the attention.
Right.
So that's the one part. So if that school, by law or otherwise, teaches something that you as the parent do not agree with, it means only, and I think parents will not like that I will say that, but yeah, I know. But it means only that you as a parent are not in communication with your child, and your child is not actually learning how to, you didn't teach your child what you should teach him, the parent. And the job of the parents is to teach the child to evaluate data.
Wow.
To be able to separate the only job of a parent, the educational job, other than there's lots of jobs for the parents, but the educational side is to get the child to think for himself, to be self-determined. This is what I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
If the child is self-determined, he will be able to look at the data and to decide what is right for him.
Right.
Child need to decide what's right for him, not what the teacher said, not what the parents believe, not what the government said. You need to decide what's right for you. What does it mean, right? You look at everything and you find what's the greatest survival to the greatest number of being, people, and things, and you need to teach your child to evaluate situation like that, to evaluate data like that. And if you do that, and if you teach your child that the source is not important, what is important is the data, the message is important, not the messenger. And if you continuously make sure that your child is the owner of his life, which means if you give him something, you never take it away, it's his. If he breaks it, he breaks it. If you give him, if he wants to do something, you agree with him what is the boundaries and what's right and what's wrong, and you keep your word and you make sure he's keeping his word. And if he's not keeping his word, you're not punishing him. You just communicate with him and come to a new agreement. If you do that, if you learn how to not make mistakes as parents, then you will see that your child will have no problem. And specifically that person that asks you, if she specifically wants, she can write to me and I will send her a video, the 10 common mistakes parents do in raising children. And she will learn the most basic things on how to handle children.
I think you're going to get more than just her asking for that video.
Anyone that wants, write me, tell me that you want the introduction to the Parent Academy, and I will be very happy to send it to you.
Wow, that's awesome. I've watched
my name on your screen.
Sorry, what?
They've got my Instagram on the screen and the website, but just contact me through Instagram and I'll give it to you.
Perfect. That's amazing. And I've watched some, not all the Parent Academy videos, and that Parent Academy is brilliant, Meir. It's one of the best things you've ever created. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you. I've created it with my friend in Israel, Dani. In Israel, we delivered more than million people that went through this parent academy. It is just unbelievable. And now we're turning it into something that we call the family academy, because it's really handling family. It's not just parents.
Right.
So it's really very powerful.
Awesome. It is. It's amazing. Okay.
More questions.
So the next question is from a teacher.
Good.
But she's awesome. And her concern, actually, as a teacher, she wants to know how to navigate the public system in it, because she says for her as a teacher, it's getting scarier and scarier by the day, because she actually doesn't agree with a lot of what's going on in the school system right now. But she wants to keep her job, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, good. So when you are part of an organization, you need to flow power to the organization, even if you don't agree. So I say, when a president gets elected, even if the guy that I didn't vote for get elected, the only way that I can help my country and myself is to support him, even if I don't agree with him. Once he is elected, I'm with him. The same thing is you're in a school system and you're not in agreement. The first thing you need to know, you need to forward the intention of management. Now, within this system, you need to figure out a way how to change the mind. And you can do a lot within your classroom by saying, look, this is what I need to teach you. And I want to tell you that you need to think for yourself, the children. You really teach the children to think for themselves.
Wow.
And you ask the children, what other viewpoint can there be? By the way, one of the key things when you're teaching children, when you're teaching at all, is wanting to teach them and to ask them questions. And another thing is to invent questions. They need to invent questions from you, and you as a teacher give them your opinion and you define it. Look, this is my opinion, and this is what the system say, and this is what other people say. And you tell them what you need to do. Children is never listen to me. Never listen to the system. Never listen to your dad. Never listen to anyone. Maybe one exception, God. Never listen to a person. Yes, you need to evaluate. So that's why I'm giving you all the different pieces of data. And your job, children, I trust you that you will make the right decision from your viewpoint. And any decision that you will make, I will support.
Wow.
What do I mean support? Not make you wrong for it. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I will support you because that's your viewpoint. And if you'll do that, you will see that it's better than any square root that you will teach them, or any piece of history, or anything of anything. Teach them how to think for themselves. Teach them to find what is true for them. Teach them how not to be robots, because robots listen to the source, to the programmer. People look at the data and tell the body what to do. Big difference.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. I just got goosebumps from that answer. That's
Wow.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's really good. These are awesome. I love it. This is the best. Thank you guys for giving me these questions. They're amazing.
Yeah, very good questions. Very, very smart questions. Really amazing. Yeah, we need to ask more of your people. They really have good questions.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Really good questions.
So I have a girl here, a friend. She's really has a lot of anxiety that's been building up over this and over everything that's going on right now. She'd like to know, she says, literally the anxiety is killing her, and she wants to know whether or not she should homeschool her child permanently, because right now we're homeschooling temporarily. If she should continue to homeschool her child permanently, or send them to school next September if they ask the kids to come back. But she doesn't even feel safe sending her child back to school right now with what's going on, and especially with the vaccine scenario. Another girl that's concerned about the vaccines and the school and having her kid in the school system.
Yeah. Okay, so the vaccine is an issue for a lot of people, and regardless of what I think about vaccines, yes or not, I'll tell you what I think about people in general. Okay, you've got a spirit, and the spirit have a body. So the spirit is the boss, and the body is the slave. Okay, so the spirit run the body. Okay. The body is the less important part of the game. Yes, so you've got the spirit. The spirit has a body and it has a mind, but the spirit is what's important. So in regard to sending your child to home, to keeping your child at homeschooling or not, I will ask your child. I'll give your child all the data, everything, and ask him and help him to evaluate the data, not opinion. And you will see that you yourself will have some things that you didn't really look for. For example, I heard today someone told me, they want to do vaccines in order to implant a chip in the body. So I asked the person, okay, wonderful. What is a chip? He said, well, this small thing. I said, no, this small thing is not a chip. What is a chip? Define for me a chip. He said, well, a chip is a chip. I said, okay, good. How does a chip get energy? How does it communicate? How does it store data? What form a chip is? Have you seen a liquid chip ever? What is a chip? And all of a sudden, that person realized that they don't know what is a chip. And because they don't know what is a chip, they were afraid. So before being afraid from the chip and from the 5G and the 20G and the what I would say for the person, instead of being a parrot and being afraid, stop, have a look at the data. Don't go and listen to people opinion that say, they're going to implant a chip in us. What is a chip? Go and study. And you will find out that once you study, once you get the knowledge, you gain control over the subject, and the subject stop being frightening. So anxiety is the result of in someone that for a while was not willing to look at the data and go to the source to give them the data. So if you stop looking at the data for a while, what's starting to happen, you start to look internally. And the more you look internally, the more you look at your mind, the more afraid you will get. Because fear is an unwillingness to look or an inability to look. So when you feel anxiety, all you have to do is to start going out and looking at things outside, and you will improve. And one of the ways that you need to look at is the data on the subject that you consider gives you anxiety. And all of a sudden, once you look at the data, you will see a whole universe open in front of you, and it starts to make so much sense that one thing will not happen for sure, that I guarantee. Once you know, you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid and knowing. You cannot be in an anxiety and know. You cannot be worried and know. All of this anxiety, worry, fear, blah, 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 is the result of an unwillingness, not an inability, unwillingness to look. Once you look, all of a sudden, not only that you know, but you have control over the subject.
Wow.
It's like you cannot drive a car with closed eyes or just from hearing the engine. You need to see what's going on. And the better you see, the better you observe, the better a driver you are. So life is about, are you willing to observe or are you willing to listen? When you observing and refusing to listen to opinion, all of a sudden you become the driver, and otherwise the car drives you, and then it's an accident.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I was actually going to ask a question about the chemtrails, from the airplanes in the sky, the big long lines that come behind the airplanes. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or anything about it, but when you look up in the air, you see the planes and they're crisscrossing. And And I was going to ask that question because that's something I used to be very concerned about for a long time, and everybody knows that and teases me about it. But you kind of just answered that with the vaccine question, I think, as well. It's sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any input on it?
And the mechanics and everything will be fine.
Right. And then, okay, so I have another person. It's another anxiety question. She's been really having a hard time with anxiety about what's going on in the world today and what's coming in the future. And what she's really concerned about, this is how amazing she is. She's worried about everybody else. She's not even worried about herself. She feels that she's okay, but she's worried about what everybody else is going through, and it's really tearing her apart. And she doesn't know how to handle and stop worrying about everybody else.
Okay, so first of all, it's very beautiful and correct to have a viewpoint on others and to really look at what's the mess, what's most of the people, what's going on with them. So this is very well done. And if you're worried about what's going on with everyone else, you need to start to do something about it. You're worried only for as long as you don't do anything about it. And what can you do? Find someone next to you. Find someone in your family. Do something about it. Figure out what's their problem. Learn the data and let them, convince them, caress them, push them to look at the data. If you will do that, you will see you help them tremendously and you will not have anxiety. Because people that help don't have time to look at the bank. If you have anxiety, is only because you are stuck in thinking. The word thinking, my definition of the word thinking is a substitute for action. For as long as you think, you don't create. You can either create or think. When you think, you go cuckoo. And when you create, you go forward. So you need to decide what you want to do. If you feel anxiety, you did not produce for a while. Go out, do, clean, fix, help. Go out, move your body, move your body, move your body, move your body. And because you're moving your body, you become cause over the body rather than the body being cause over you. And all of a sudden you'll see there's no anxiety. Anxiety is just a manifestation of you being in agreement with you being an effect. When you don't agree that you're effect, you will move your body, you will cause your body to do things, you will push energy to your body. You will see that you'll be too busy to worry.
Can you say that one line again about being an effect? That was really good. I really liked it.
So when you are busy producing, you don't have time to be effect because you're creating. You can either create into the future or think about the past and then become the effect of the past. So either you're effect of the past or you're creating your future, one of the two. But you cannot be, it's like in a car, you cannot be in two gears at the same time. You're either going forward, creation, and then there's no anxiety, or you look backward, you go in reverse, and there's a lot of anxiety. You know, even a car, when it goes back, it's you drive slowly, it's dangerous, it's it's exactly the same. You don't drive reverse for too long because it's not logical. So if you find a car that goes in reverse all the time, you will think it's weird. But somehow, when we look at people that go in reverse for a long time, we don't think it's weird. It is weird. The right thing to do is create. Put the future there. Go out. Move your body. Move your body. Move your body. Tell the body what to do. Be the cause over the body. Don't allow to be the effect of the body.
Okay. Beautiful. Awesome. All right.
Okay, I think we are almost an hour, actually.
Yeah, this is my last one. We're on the very last one, so perfect timing.
Shoot. Yeah, shoot.
Okay, so what is your insight about what to do when all hope seems lost? Are we losing this battle or can we survive?
Okay, so we definitely can survive, 100%. Man went through worse than that, although it was dressed in different way, but it was worse than that. We went through a World War. We went through atom bombs. We went through diseases. So a small virus that may or may not exist, not going to end humanity. What will What can end humanity is fear. Because if you want to do something about the situation, you need to look at what bring forward motion, what bring creation, what bring hope, and know that that's true. But anyone that come and tell you it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, you know one thing for sure, he doesn't know what's going on, because otherwise he will not think that it's bad. I take my company, and if I'll see all the dangers and I will say it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it means I don't know what to do with my company. It means I'm a useless manager. What is a manager? Is someone that make it go right. If my commander in the army will come in to me and say, well, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, I would never go ahead and shoot and do anything. But he said, no, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah, they only have guns. So what? 100, we are 10. It's nothing. We're eating them for breakfast. We can do something about it. So I know that he is pro-survival. And if you do that, if that's your viewpoint, you will win. A small group that have strong belief in the ability to create will win any frightened group. You will see that actually wars are won by the mind, not by the bullets, because the side that is more afraid is the side that loses.
Wow.
You know, in the 6 Days War, Israel against the Arabs, and I'm not getting into politics or anything, I'm just giving an observation.
Okay.
The Egyptian ran away. They took the shoes and they left the tanks and they ran away. It's not that the Israeli were better. It's not that the Israeli army was stronger. I don't think that that's the key, because in terms of weapons and numbers, the Egyptian had more weapons, more people, more. But the Israelis managed to frighten them. Why? Because in the first day, the Air Force went in and it surprised them with an attack that caused the commanders to be afraid. And because the commander went afraid, everyone else realized that this is dangerous. And that's how the war was won in 6 days. Wow. Not because of bullets, not because of tanks, not because of smart, not because of anything of the Israelis. It's not the Israelis that won the war, it's that the Egyptian that lost it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's a big difference, and they lost it because they were afraid, not because they are not smart, not because they are not able, not because they are not strong. Only because they decided mentally to move from I'm a winner to I'm a loser. Loser is afraid and he will lose, and a winner don't believe that he can lose. He believes he can, despite all oppositions. So your viewpoint is, whatever you do, one thing for sure, you evaluate whoever tells you what he's telling you based on, is he telling you that we're going to win or lose? If he's telling you that we're going to lose, you know the guy's nonsense is useless, because he doesn't know what he's talking. Because I don't need, if the situation is bad, I don't need someone to tell me that the situation is bad. I already smell it, yes? I need someone that will show me how the situation is good. Right. So one thing for sure, this guy is not part of the game. He's not on my team. But you look for someone that can say, well, you know, that's the situation. That's what we're going to do to handle it. And it's easy. We're going to do it. You do your part, I'll tell you what to do, and bring me my cigar, and everything is going to be okay. Don't worry. We're going to do it. We're going to lick it. It's easy.
Awesome.
Okay.
And you're that guy.
Thank you.
You're that guy to help us, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing. And I think, you know what, after everybody sees this interview, you're going to get flooded. I hope you're going to get flooded with messages of people asking for those 2 different videos you offered. And I hope they'll follow and learn more from you, because everything you just said in this hour-long video was amazing, Meir. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Gali, I see you here. Amit, Swapna, Margaret, Lisa, Pedro, and Alex. Yes, I see a lot of people. Michelle, thank you very, very much. And thank you for all the likes. And thank you for asking all the questions, and for your friends for sending you the questions. And for Amit and Swapna for arranging all the back office stuff, and for Shania that organizing the whole thing and putting the idea together. smart, unbelievable, beautiful. Mwah. Thank you,
buddy.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Hold on.